It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, he is Eric Harley and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Welcome. Thanks for being here. All right, so, Eric, very quickly, I just happened to go to the Drudge Report because it's actually comical at times to go look and see what the Drudge Report has become. But I did see a couple of stories here, and I went, whoa, look at this. And there was this headline. I'm like, okay, who wrote an article on this? And the headline in the Drudge Report, this is the Drudge Report's headline, was Trump's Big Gay Government.
All right.
There's Trump's Big Gay Government. And then it goes to Trump's Big Gay Government on the town with A-gays. Like, what is it called? When you like the A-level politicians, whatever.
Okay.
But they're calling them, the New York Times calls them on the town with the A-gays of Washington who have never been happier to be out and about as Republicans. Number one, this shows you the obsession with identity politics because no one even talks about that in Republican circles, do they?
No.
Has that talk been at all?
No.
You don't hear anything on that whatsoever. So, just, again, I'm asking the question, and I may be making a statement by asking this question.
Well, maybe.
Did they write it because they wish to be complimentary for the sense of inclusion in the Trump administration, or did they write it in hopes that conservatives would reject the Trump administration because he has gay people working for him? Is it to support Trump's belief in DEI? Okay, I can't even buy that one.
Well, I mean, if they think this is going to be a negative for him, they're wrong. I don't know if I can quantify it, but I think most people that support him understand, and there's never been a question. We don't care.
So
it's not an issue.
I just thought that was, when I saw that, it just happened to catch my eye during the top of the hour.
Yeah.
And I just go to the Drudge Report just for the fun of it. We used to go to look for stories.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And because Drudge Report really got notoriety during the Monica Lewinsky thing. And then remember when he was a conservative? And anybody even know who's the editor anymore? Who does it?
I don't even know who runs it.
I don't even know.
I don't know.
But I just saw that and just had to mention it because I went to and I can't get in the New York Times story. It has a paywall, and I'm not going to pay for the New York Times. But it was like,
I do have the New York Times.
But I just love it. A gay list Republicans. And that's when I read that. I go, okay, the New York Times are desperate. Okay, if we write this, Republicans won't like that. I'm like, they won't.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they didn't. I am positive they did not write it. I know I asked the question, but I did preface the question saying I was actually making a statement. I am 100% positive they did not print that story in order to compliment Donald Trump for his inclusive instincts.
No.
Would I be correct in that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
All right, so here we go. Now, I will admit, I did a little bit of clickbaiting. The last part of last hour, where I told you the story about Americans fleeing to Canada, seeking refugee status as the numbers spike dramatically.
Yeah.
Now, this comes from Fox News, so remember, the clickbait comes from Fox News, not me.
Right.
As America's elite increasingly seek golden visas across the globe, others are seeking refugee status closer to home. Canada's Immigration and Refugee Board released data highlighting a spike in Americans moving to the land of the maple leaf. The data shared last Thursday found that more Americans applied for refugee status in Canada in the first half of 2025 than in all of 2024, Reuters reported. So, what do you think the numbers are?
Gotta be
a million?
Huge.
Million? 600,000 students?
Has to be.
300,000? Quarter of a million? 20,000? 30,000?
I'm certain.
The 245 Americans who applied surpassed the numbers for each of the previous full years since 2019, according to Reuters. The data does not specify the reasons Americans are seeking refugee status. Many reports suggest political disagreements with the Trump administration. 245 filed claims this year, 204 filed last year. So that means up to now, if you take this entire year, will have roughly 300 to 350 Americans. A little bit of a clickbait there, you think?
Yeah, maybe.
Drastically skyrocketing.
Wow. 245.
Yale philosophy professor Jason Stanley, for example, told the Financial Times he accepted a position at the University of Toronto and cited academic freedom concerns. Are you kidding me? And talk to Jordan Peterson.
Wow.
Academic freedom concerns?
Right.
In the United States?
Unless you mean Jordan Peterson has too many.
Right. I believe in the values of academic freedom and defending democratic institutions. And you went to Canada?
Well,
the country that will put you in jail for using the wrong pronouns?
Even with your own child?
Yeah. Wow. So, Marxist professors moved to Canada for more democracy. All right.
Or are they saying they had too much in the U.S.?
Maybe,
we had too many freedoms here in the U.S.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah. We don't like
that. I would believe.
We don't like the freedom. We like the authoritarian, liberal, Marxist, anti-Semitic narrative that's only allowed on major college campuses today.
Well, that's
a great point.
We've actually heard from people that have tried to make the case we have too many freedoms. Too much freedom is a bad thing. So I can see that. I can see somebody who's, listen, I can't. What were they saying during the cup size ban thing in New York City?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't control myself.
I can't control
Salt,
myself.
the same thing. Mika
and Morning Joe.
I can't control myself.
I
need somebody to control me.
I'm a child. I can't control myself. Please, government, take care of me.
And then Joe, sitting next to her, said, I wish somebody would control me. And she stepped right in.
Right. And she did. And
yes.
He responds to her now appropriately as constantly, yes, dear, yes, dear, yes, dear, yes, dear.
And then, and there's at least at one point each day when he stops and looks in the camera and says, let me tell you what Mika thinks I think.
I'll never forget when she said, I understand because I just can't stop salt. I can't stop salt. I can't stop salt. So I'm glad the government, if you wish to be a child, go and be a child. We may need to go back to what you suggested years ago.
The Freedom Card?
The Freedom Card. Eric, explain what the Freedom Card was.
The Freedom Card.
Yes. The Red Eye Radio Freedom Card.
Which we all have. We may not have a tangible version of it, but
it's digital.
It's why would you want to carry it around?
It's virtual.
You can put it on your phone. And you would have your Red Eye Freedom Card. Now, if you think like Mika does on things like salt, the government needs to control the amount of salt intake or the soda cup size, then you can hand in your freedom card.
Right. And then you've given the government the permission to control every little stinking aspect of your life. But if you have the freedom card, leave us the hell alone.
That's right. Give me a huge salt lick. Look, I'd like a 4-pound salt lick, please.
Did we just break FCC law there?
I don't think so.
Was that obscenity?
We're clearly talking about cattle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hey, could you pass the salt lick? Get your own. This one's mine. I'm not sharing my salt lick. That's my grandmother's dying words. Never share your salt lick.
Sharon Stone, they said leading up to the 2024 presidential election, various celebrities publicized their plans to move if President Trump was reelected. Sharon Stone, Cher, Barbara Streisand all threatened to relocate.
All right. Bye.
So 245 people. As far as I'm concerned, it fits. They're cowards.
Yeah.
Nothing could make me leave the United States.
Nope.
Absolutely nothing.
No.
I was born here. I was raised here. I believe in the Constitution of the United States. I will, unless I'm vacationing somewhere, which is highly unlikely, but I will die here.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving for anything. No way. You know why? Number one, nobody's going to tell me what to do. Number two, I owe it to every single person who sacrificed their life, their body, their mind, their time to defend the Constitution of the United States so I could have the most incredible American dream ever, which is the opportunity to experience the freedom that I've had. There's no way, I don't care how bad it got, no way would I ever leave.
No, I'm not leaving.
Ever.
I'm not going.
Ever. No one's ever forcing me out of the country.
Yeah. Nope.
And so these people are just cowards is what they are. Fight for what you believe. You think Canada's going to be better? Wait till you have an opinion that disagrees with their government. Wait till you decide to, as the truckers found out, to be a part of your own civil disobedience that the government up there disagrees with.
Right.
And then tell me about damn freedom.
Yeah.
And by the way, I say this, and my father's side, and I have relatives that still live in Canada. And so there's a lot of me that is growing up on the border also, and the amount of time I've spent in Canada where there's a great attachment and an affection towards that country. But I'm not going to be fooled by what they've done with the legal system and the oppression that exists on things that are absolute core beliefs in the United States that we would never give up. So sit with your own delusion and believe that Canada is more of a representative government where a Bill of Rights like the United States exists. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's, be careful what you ask for. The grass isn't always more liberal on the other side.
Maybe it is.
And
if it is more liberal, it might be more it's more oppressive.
And it may be more liberal than you.
Yeah. 866-98 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
Notice what has been autumnal weather over the past few days. If you live between, say, the Rocky Mountains to the Atlantic coast, according to USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey.
It may get a little cooler before this is all said and done later this week. We've already seen some of our first frost of the year in the upper Great Lakes region, specifically across northern Minnesota and extending into parts of neighboring states. And this is something that we can expect to see really, I think, continuing for the remainder of August and well on into September.
As surges of cold air continue to travel from Canada through the Midwest and Northeast.
By the time we get to the end of this week, the only real lingering mild air, hot, humid conditions across the deep south, really from Texas and eventually just southern Texas, eastward along the Gulf Coast into parts of Florida.
While warm, dry weather continues in the northern high plains and western U.S. I'm Ron Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. You know, the funny thing is we were talking about Canada, and I forgot what network it's on. I don't know if it's a CW network or whatever, but I did see, and I didn't even know that it existed because apparently this isn't syndication, and it was Law & Order Toronto debuts in the United States. And I went,
What?
I wonder if that has government approval. Do they want to show that there's crime in Toronto?
Right. Wow.
And I wonder if they're going to have ripped from the headlines, the truckers strike.
Well,
They do that for Law and Order. I mean, they did for years.
It could get interesting, I guess. Law and Order Toronto. Not as popular as Law and Order Poughkeepsie.
Law and Order Key West.
Law and Order Jackson Hole.
Yes.
It's a 30-minute show. Fewer people, less crime.
Grizzly bears stealing stuff.
Exactly.
Hey, Lenny.
I left out the marshmallows, and I don't know where they are.
Lenny, what's the evidence, Lenny, that the grizzly did it?
Exactly.
I'm going back, way back on
Oh,
Law and
my
Order.
gosh,
now,
yeah.
aren't I? That's way.
Don't know. Jerry Orbach would look at the situation and go, well, buddy, it doesn't look like you left out any marshmallows. I think you consumed most of them. Maybe that's where they went.
Oh, my gosh, just so funny. Coming up on the bottom of the hour, the president and the bizarre proposal to allow 600,000 Chinese students in, and the response from not MAGA, the response from far-right MAGA.
Yeah.
All right, would that be right? Far right?
Right,
You know,
yeah.
who I'm going to use as the audio cut
Mm-hmm.
coming up in a little bit. It's really, we talked about it to start out the show. It really is amazing because he's got to pull back on this. There is no win. There's nothing, not even Epstein. Epstein, you had people saying, well, we don't know what's in the files yet, so given the benefit of the doubt for a little bit, that still didn't hold. That probably was, 80%?
Yeah.
This is as close to 100%. Massive opposition, total confusion, complete betrayal from MAGA over the president proposing this. And the first day that he announced it, it was like, okay, well, he hasn't done anything. And he says a lot of things he doesn't end up doing. Then he doubled down on it yesterday and was like, it's insulting that people don't want Chinese students to come over here.
Right.
And that just blew everybody's mind. And then Lutnick was saying the same thing. This is about, don't you realize there's an economic benefit of $15 billion to the American economy? That made it worse.
They're not winning this at all. Yet they're doubling down.
Yep.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Download our Red Eye Radio app today, and you can listen when you want. All right, so it was a bizarre day yesterday when the president doubled down on the wanting to, as part of the trade deal or the proposed trade deal with China. He hasn't mentioned anything else on it, but he mentioned 600,000 Chinese students coming to our colleges. And if not, 15% of colleges could be gone in the United States. It did not go over well with anyone in MAGA. It doesn't matter how.
No.
In fact, when I saw the Breitbart thing, MAGA not on board with the president, and we burst out laughing because we saw the same headline for the Epstein thing. We went, well, then what's MAGA? I thought MAGA was what Trump wants.
Right.
And it's like, we're going to get it now. I'm more MAGA than Trump. But when we had talked about it earlier, when you think the number one issue that got Trump into office was protection of the American citizens, and that was the border.
Yeah, right.
The president, just the last couple of days, the administration saying, we're going to go after, if you put something on your social media and you got a visa to come over here and it's anti-Semitic or it's anti-American, we're going to revoke your visa.
Yeah.
Everything with the border, everything based on people coming in to this country and ensuring that we vet them, and then a place where it's almost impossible to actually vet somebody coming in from China. The president says, we can vet them easily and this would be great. And it's insulting. He actually went after his MAGA base and said, it's insulting that you don't want these students to come over to the United States and get an education. It was almost, as I said, I said to you earlier, I said, I thought I was watching this was the movie Dave. If you've ever seen the movie Dave, and this is where somebody impersonates a lookalike of the president becomes the president because
Right.
the president is incapacitated, and they wanted to keep, they want to see if he recovered and keep him in office or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so Dave was completely different and did all these liberal things, remember?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm going to make that was such a cornbally movie, wasn't it?
It really was.
It really was.
Yeah.
But I went, this has got to be Dave, because this is 180 degrees from anything that anyone expected from the president. And especially when 4 spies last month, was it?
Yeah.
With the biological stuff. Bringing
Right.
biological stuff in.
Right.
And Chinese spies, one of the biggest worries that we have in this country, the Chinese over here spying and stealing intellectual property and patents and everything. And the president saying, well, no, we get along great. Xi is a great guy. And on the same day that in the state of Texas, where we are broadcasting from, Governor Abbott signed a law that was passed by the Texas legislature to stop hostile foreign entities of the United States from buying property. Number one on the list, China.
And now 600,000 visas for students from China.
Right. And
because nothing could go wrong with that.
By the way, when I saw that, I went, Eric's going to blow up, because you were near blowing up yesterday when you just went, where's this coming from?
Yeah.
Where in the world is this coming from? What this?
And then the doubling down.
Yeah. That was before the doubling down.
I know.
So I figured you'd come in
that's
today
what
going,
I said. And then it's now you've got a situation where they're not giving up on it.
Yeah.
And trying to convince their base. Nobody else but their base.
Yeah. Well, let's go to right, far right, MAGA. And I guess you'd have to say that would be Steve Bannon, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's Steve Bannon talking about it yesterday.
All right.
Here we go.
Howard's talking. There's 55 million. There's 55 million immigrants in the country on different visas, and I don't want Howard Lutnick, who's a sales guy. You're not going to sell me on this. You're not going to sell us on this. Don't sit there and say, first off, the response to the 600,000 Chinese was kind of mind-bendingly ridiculous.
There you go. All right, not just him. We go to his protege also. Is it Natalie Winters, I think?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And she talked about it yesterday, too. Now, this is before he doubled down, I believe, because this is where she said, that we've learned that the Trump team is responsive if we make noise. Well, they weren't from the first day. They doubled down, in fact, said, accused MAGA of being basically insulting.
Yeah.
How can you do this? How can you be so insulting? These 600,000 Chinese students just want an education, and it helps our economy by $15 billion. Here's her response.
The number one thing that we've learned from the Trump administration is that they are very responsive. If we make noise, we get results. And I think that this Chinese student visa issue is one of those things, just like it was the FEMA aid to countries or rather counties or citizens who, it was disrespectful or weren't supportive of the Israeli government. When we made enough noise, we saw that provision very swiftly removed from the new DHS guidelines. And I think that we need to hold a similar line here on the Chinese visa front, which, by the way, the current number hovers, maybe it's a little lower than around 300,000 students. So I don't understand, even if you think that's great, which it's not, we're certainly going to get into that, why we would be doubling that number. I think the brief summary of the argument is these are not students. These are spies. The short-term consequences are IP theft, espionage, cybersecurity incidents, stealing all of our most valuable information. I don't understand why we should be training the next generation, at best, of Chinese Communist Party leaders and apparatchiks, at worst, the people that we'll be meeting on the battlefield. But I think the longer-term implications, and frankly, their republic ending, are that we are essentially creating our own demise. This might be the best example that I've ever seen of managed decline. The idea that we should hollow out American universities, take seats in classrooms from the people I went to high school with, the people that you raised as your children, grandchildren, and give them to foreigners.
There you go. And I played those, too. Not that we always even come close at times to agreeing with Steve Bannon on stuff.
Right.
But the fact is we wanted to give you a cross-section of Trump supporters. And there is a cross-section of Trump supporters, as we've talked before.
Yeah.
So why?
Yeah.
But this is part of his, and I'll say it's a minority part of the internet of influencers, but an extremely loud, absolute support, not for Epstein, not the Epstein stuff, they weren't, but what is traditionally viewed as right-wing MAGA, the ultimate support of the president. They're completely against this. It's going to be fascinating to see the response of the president today.
Well, especially in the wake of the great success story at sealing the border.
Yeah.
In modern times, we haven't seen anything like that because there wasn't a will by a president to enforce the law. And now you're talking about, and while there are visas, a lot of people put those two are in the same category because we're talking about, in this case, China sending us 600,000 Chinese citizens. The great risk, Gary, if only the smallest portion of them, like 50,000 were spies, mostly peaceful student visas. Think about that. 10,000. 10,000. So 590,000, they're just getting an education. 10,000 are spies. Because it doesn't matter whether you work this out with China or not, if this is some kind of backroom deal going on right now with China on minerals or whatever else, they're claiming right now online. Well, it doesn't matter. If it's not, the moment you set this into motion officially, China's going to take full advantage. They're going to line them up. And they'll know, okay, come on. We can't send 600,000 spies. But what we can do is 1,000.
And you asked a question yesterday. You just said, how did this get here? Who's approving this? And then when he doubled down on it yesterday, we said, this is no, because I got a few, Trump, this could just be off the top of his head. I think that's what Breitbart said. This might be off the top of his head. That was written before he doubled down on it. And then we know that Bessent also said, or Lutnick said the exact same thing. Don't you realize, to Laura Ingraham, remember? Mm-hmm. She didn't buy it. She goes, what are you talking about? No. What do you mean $15 billion? No, we'll find other ways. Grow the economy for $15 billion. You don't bring over 600,000 young people from a hostile, as Governor Abbott of Texas referred to China as, a hostile foreign adversary.
Right.
You don't do it. And so I have no idea. And the fact that they doubled down on it and the talking points from both Lutnick and the president were exactly the same means they've workshopped this in meetings.
Yep.
Who's leading this thing? Did anybody stand up and go, at least we found out from the Cracker Barrel, not I'm trying to relate Cracker Barrel to the White House, but it's the same kind of story. At least we know that one investor stood up for years and said, no, what are you doing? I mean, for anybody, you'd have to be sitting there in a meeting when this first came up and someone said, what's Stephen Miller? It was Miller in that meeting?
Oh, Susie Wiles. I mean, look at it. Look at the list of people that would populate a meeting like that.
Yeah.
We mentioned Marco Rubio.
But I did see someone who's like, somebody get a hold of Stephen Miller. Somebody get a hold. Is he still with the administration today after this? Right. Has he quit yet? What in the world? I mean, it's just that I was, like I said, I went, okay, I hate to be conspiratorial, but this is the movie Dave.
Yeah.
This isn't Trump. It can't be Trump.
It can't be.
Donald Trump. We've been following Trump since the 80s when it comes to protecting Americans. And it's just
maybe it's Mission Impossible. Somebody try and pull the mask off.
and it's Gerald Nadler.
Well, the problem is you can wear a mask, but there are other things.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Remember the allegation that he smells?
Yeah, well, that and the fact that his suit would fit very differently.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Wow. Just a wow. All right, 866-90 Red Eye.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
We are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. I'm telling you, when I saw that dust storm out in Arizona.
Yeah.
No.
That's like out of a movie.
Yeah, I've dealt with a lot of bad weather before. I've got some pictures of the snow belt when some of the bad snow belts have moved in, and you can see there's like an immediate separation where the snow belt, where it can be snowing and 100 feet over, you can see 6 feet of snow, and then a mile over, an inch of snow.
Yeah,
and there's a huge wall that comes, and it looks pretty terrifying, but nothing like the dust storm, because you know what you're getting with the dust storm as opposed to a snowstorm.
Right.
And I'm like, whoa. And you see at Burning Man,
mm-hmm.
it took down some of this stuff. What do they call it? I have to ask the question, what is the orgy tent?
Well, they're going to need some dusting after this weekend.
They said it burned down the Burning Man orgy dome destroyed by freak storm.
All right. Well, hopefully it wasn't occupied.
Yeah, I'm not really up on Burning Man. I mean, I know that I know
orgy domes.
Yes, Burning Man I am. Orgy domes I'm not.
Right. That It probably don't have those building plans over at Home Depot, I'm guessing. But
or my senior citizen complex.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Oh, wait a minute. The Villages. That's right. Remember the Villages?
Could be. Could be.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.